The valley grows quiet at night, but beneath the silence, a battle is stirring. Shadows stretch across your heart, across the walls of your home, across your thoughts. The night can be heavy, the mind can be loud, fear can whisper too close. But tonight, you are not alone in your valley of unrest or confusion. God is your refuge, your strength, your present help when darkness comes. His voice is gentle, like a shepherd guiding lost lambs through unseen danger. Subscribe to receive God's protection every night. Stay until the end. Before you sleep, heaven stands ready, alert, armed, and faithful. The unseen world is more real than the darkness pressing on your mind. Fear tells you the night is long. God says he shortens every trial. The enemy attacks loud in silence. Heaven answers louder without noise. God walks into your valley, not intimidated by shadows or accusations. Rest is coming. But first, the wind shifts and declares, God fights for you. Peace will be your pillow, but victory will be your crown at dawn. When your mind feels invaded, God becomes a fortress around your thoughts. When arrows fly unseen, angels stand between you and the attack. God doesn't sleep, even when your eyes grow heavy with exhaustion. He's already working while darkness tries to rewrite your story. The shepherd turns wilderness into sanctuary with one spoken command. Tonight is not just a prayer, it is a divine disruption against fear. God turns night into victory, as promised for those who trust him. The valley is painted in midnight blue, vast and soundless. Your mind echoes with questions, fears, and invisible accusations. Footsteps approach softly, but with authority greater than silence. God enters your valley with the calm of a shepherd and the roar of a king. The enemy trembles without you even seeing his face. The atmosphere shifts. Fear pulls back like a defeated tide. Because God fights for you in the valley the world cannot reach. 2. Whispers rise from the shadows, trying to invade your peace. Arrows aimed at your mind move through silent spiritual air, but God stands firm, unshaken, shoulders wrapped in divine resolve. Darkness gathers like wolves circling, but the shepherd doesn't move. You are safe in his presence, even when fear circles your thoughts. God knows every attack before it is formed. Tonight, your valley listens to a new commander. 3. The unseen accusers shout without sound, loud inside despair. They try to corner your rest, your security, your dreams. But a light begins, not harsh, but golden, steady, sovereign. God steps closer to your mind than the lies trying to take root. Your enemies are real, but their power ends where God begins. No shadow can outstretch the reach of divine covering, because God fights for you while silence watches. 4. The night holds its breath. Even creation knows a battle is starting. But calm covers your heart like a shepherd covers the sheep. God raises his eyes, not panicked but powerful, intentional. He does not rush into battle. He arrives already victorious. Fear is not a place, it is a voice, and this one is silenced tonight. Dark forces see him and scatter in rehearsed defeat, because God fights for you before you take your last breath awake. 5. His cloak of refuge begins to wrap around your racing thoughts. The night is still, but God is moving in realms you can't witness. Enemies try to throw darts at your peace, like storms at a mountain. God becomes the mountain your heart hides behind tonight. No tremble can remain when strength himself enters your valley. Rest is preparing to bloom, but first lies kneel in surrender, because God fights for you where shadows gather thickest. 6. He places his hand near your mind, gentle but unbreakable. The wolves circle, but no circle is complete when God interrupts it. The valley feels like a battlefield. Heaven calls it your classroom of victory. God doesn't remove valleys, he invades them for you. Your mind is the territory the enemy wants. God claims it again. Peace will descend, but first dominion must be restored. because God fights for you and for your thoughts tonight. 7. The ground of your heart seems cold, but heaven feels no temperature. God speaks no panic, but his voice shakes enemies like thunder. Mental attacks collapse like paper castles in unseen hurricanes. Your valley is not abandoned, it is being entered by a shepherd who carries a sword of peace sharper than warfare. No accusation formed in shadows survives divine crossing, because God fights for you silently and victoriously tonight. 8. God stands at the gate of your thoughts like ancient protective walls. The unseen enemy scratches the air, but cannot scratch your soul, because your soul is shielded in golden resolve tonight. Warfare begins unseen, but so does deliverance. Your valley is dark. Heaven is darker only to your enemies. God does not echo. He ends echoes with presence, because God fights for you in unseen war tonight. 9. Every shadow in your valley carries fear except one. God's shadow carries covering, rest, and quiet dominion. He doesn't hide light. He hides his children for protection. The valley is not your grave. It is your corridor of triumph. Your dreams are not unguarded. They are being claimed tonight. God pulls closer like a shepherd at the sound of danger, because God fights for you gently and completely tonight. 10. Arrows hit the air, but never reach what God shields. Tonight, your mind will not be the battlefield of doubt. It will be the altar of disruption against lies. God plants no anxiety. He uproots what anxiety planted earlier. Because upheaval is holy when God steps into unseen war. You will sleep, but the shepherd stays awake in battle, because God fights for you faithfully tonight. 11. His hand moves closer to your mind than your fear moves away. The unseen enemy freezes like storms at solid fortress doors. God is your fortress and your shepherd at the same time. Valleys are paths, not verdicts, for those God protects. No silent arrow survives divine response signatures. God signs the air with unseen covenant protection, because God fights for you before your enemies reach voice tonight. 12. Darkness wanted your mind. God breaks the attack gently but fully. Tonight, the valley becomes your sacred battlefield training ground, not because you fight, because God fights for you. Angels stand witness, creation bends quietly, storms kneel unseen. Victory begins before rest begins, so rest is safe for you. God claims your mind back like a shepherd claims the sheep, because God fights for you, for your peace, and for your rest tonight. God is your refuge, even when your mind is restless at night. He is your strength, even when fear fights to rewrite your peace. You will not be shaken, even if the enemy shakes your thoughts. The night may feel unstable, but God steps into unstable minds. He breaks every mental attack with silent, sovereign dominion. You are safe in him, even if your mind feels like a battlefield, because God fights for you before your fear even speaks. 2. The nations rage, but so do the voices trying to occupy your mind. Kingdoms shake, but no shaking is stronger than divine peace signatures. God lifts his voice and ends the roar inside your thoughts. The earth melts beneath his authority, not beneath the enemy. Your enemies are loud in silence. Heaven is louder in dominion, because God breaks attacks before dawn arrives. Tonight, your mind is a witness to holy interruption. 3. The Lord of Heavens fights unseen wars inside unseen realms. He protects your home and the territory of your thoughts. God is in the midst of your mind. You will not be moved. Morning will come with peace, because night came with authority. God helps you when the day breaks, but first, he breaks the night. Fear tries to build noise inside your mind. God ends the blueprint, because the shepherd protects the gate of your thoughts. 4. The Lord commands armies you cannot see, but can feel, calming you. He does not leave you defenseless when arrows fly, silent mental attacks. Creation listens when the King of Peace becomes your shepherd. Your valley is dark. Your shepherd is armed with light. Not just light that comforts, but light that destroys warfare signatures. He fights your enemies before you fight sleep, because God covers your dreams before night ends. 5. He makes wars cease, even the secret wars targeting your thoughts. He breaks the bow of accusation aimed at your peace. He snaps the spear of deception forged against your identity. Storms kneel, kingdoms tremble, but your mind is shielded. God fights your mind's enemies like winds at fortress doors. Your thoughts are not unguarded. They are being silenced tonight because God fights for you and for your peace. 6. Come, see the works of the Lord in your mind while your body rests. He makes desolations out of every lie that tried to accuse you. He becomes your fortress, your shepherd, your shield unseen. The mind is the final battlefield. Heaven enters first. God enters your thoughts without intimidation from silence voices. He silences invasions without you witnessing the unseen, because God fights for you quietly and victoriously tonight. 7. He makes wars cease across the entire earth and also in your heart. He breaks arrows forged silently against your thoughts. He subdues storms shaped like fear-shaped accusations' mental strongholds. He carries refuge like a cloak over minds tired from battle. Mental attacks fail where heaven begins. Enemies scatter in silence. Peace scatters your fear fully, because God fights for you faithfully and silently tonight. 8. Tonight the battlefield is the mind. Tomorrow will be peace's witness. God shatters the bow of accusation forged at shadow chambers. He snaps every spear of deception aimed at your peace. Not by your hands, but by heaven's gentle dominion. The night trembles. Your mind is covered. Fear wanted to invade. God invaded the fear, because God fights for you and for your rest tonight. 9. Be still, says the Lord, and know that calm belongs to you tonight. He is exalted above every mental accuser, silent warfare strategies. He dominates kingdoms, but comforts his children fully at dusk. Tonight your thoughts will not be owned by unseen accusers' roars. They will be owned by heaven's shepherd's quiet sovereign rim lights. Your valley is dark, but your shepherd is darker to your enemies, because the king fights for your thoughts tonight. 10. His winds are silent but stronger than accusation's noise. Creation trembles but does not intimidate your peace's promise. God ends attacks you can't even witness. He fights enemies shaped like storms, accusation's noise inside silence voice. Not by your strength, but by presence signature of heavens. He turns silence into victory without echoing noise, because God fights for your mind quietly tonight. 11. He rewrites little heavens over minds tired from accusation. He plants no anxiety, only endings to anxiety's blueprint forged earlier. God becomes your fortress at silent mind door chambers strategies. Tonight the dynasty of accusers kneels destruction without sound. Morning will come soft because God softened your sleep's path. He signs the air with unseen covenant peace. Because God fights for you before night speaks accusation again. 12. Tonight your mind will not be moved by accusation's silent anxieties. It will be moved by heaven's shepherd's sovereign covering. God fights for you and for your thoughts tonight. Angels witness unseen. Peace bends creation's fear down. Victory begins before whispered sleep promises arrive over your heart. God claims your peace like a shepherd claims sheep when wolves gather. Because he fights every attack on your mind, silently tonight. Heaven opens a quiet corridor above your troubled mind at night. Angels move like calm winds, carrying swords of truth and healing. Mental accusations fall not by noise, but by divine signature. The right hand of God enters invisible battlegrounds already victorious. Your enemies try to build strongholds. Heaven tears the blueprints. God sends reinforcements dressed in peace, clothed in dominion. Because he fights the battle your mind cannot even name. The unseen warfare begins, silent but overwhelmingly powerful. Spiritual arrows freeze mid-air before reaching the altar of your peace. God walks through the invisible battlefield of anxious thoughts. Angels stand firm between accusation and identity rewritten by heaven. Your valley may be dark. Heaven is darker to your enemies. Light surrounds you softly, but strikes the unseen loud without sound. Because God fights for your thoughts tonight, God dispatches angels you cannot see but can feel guarding your mind. Storms may shape fear. Angels shape protection stronger than the storm. Mental fog collapses when heaven calls your name into remembrance. Your enemies scatter unseen like smoke, meeting divine interruption. God does not panic when darkness circles your peace. He subdues every voice rising inside your tired thoughts quietly, because victory begins before rest begins. Spiritual wolves circle, but the shepherd commands unseen armies. He does not echo fear. He ends echoes with presence and authority. Mental arrows aimed at your peace snap silently under heaven's dominion. Angels raise no panic, but kneel no attack survives divine crossing. God signs the air around your thoughts like fortress rim lights at dusk. Mental attacks collapse like paper kingdoms on an eternal altar of peace, because God fights for your mind silently tonight. The unseen world bows before the spoken command of God over your thoughts. Mental storms tremble. They do not intimidate the shepherd. Angels war with truth while your heart prepares for rest. Your accusers gather quietly, but they do not gather completely. God interrupts circles your enemies cannot close them tonight. Your valley listens to the commander of calm and dominion, because God claims your mind back quietly. Heaven's armies fight unseen wars silently across your mental battleground. God does not tremble when darkness tries to rewrite the verdicts you felt. Angels carry no echo. They carry endings to every echo earlier built by fear. Mental accusations melt like fragile kingdoms meeting divine weather. God becomes the mountain your mind hides behind tonight. Angels push back storms before your soul even witnesses. Because he fights for your thoughts faithfully, angels stand guard unseen outside the illusions attempting to occupy your mind. God plants no anxiety, only endings of what anxiety earlier tried to build. He does not battle for victory, he battles from victory. The unseen enemy scratches the air, but cannot scratch your identity. Angels witness unseen. Peace bends creation's fear down quietly. God claims your peace like a shepherd claims sheep when wolves gather. Because heaven ends attacks before sound arrives. Tonight, the battlefield is the mind. Tomorrow will be its witness. God shatters every bow formed inside silent rooms you fought earlier. He snaps every spear aimed at your identity, comfort not by hands, but by heaven. Mental arrows fail where angels cross the line unseen. Your valley is dark. Your shepherd is armed with a more ancient darkness of peace. He ends every echo, melts every arrow, breaks every illusion softly. Because God fights for your mind silently tonight. Your mind will not kneel for silent storms. It will kneel for silent sovereign. Angels kneel formation of every attack blueprint vanishes at intersection of calm. God knows the face of every mental invasion unseen accuser without you seeing. He signs covenant protection softer than sleep's whisper, stronger than accusation. He does not shout to defeat. He speaks to disrupt dominions earlier built by fear rooms. Your valley holds no verdict tonight. Heaven holds every verdict. Because unseen war ends before rest begins. Angels do not retard motion. They advance in holy, slow, intentional peace signature. God sends mental reinforcements disguised in solace, but armed with dominion. The unseen voices fall silent. Spiritual wolves vanish at shepherd's presence. Mental illusions collapse under heaven's calm weight signature. You will sleep tonight, but not into silence, into unseen voice dominion. God guards, angels fight. Peace signs the night into remembrance, because God fights for your thoughts fully tonight. Heaven writes protection over your thoughts like soft ink on invisible realms. Angels scatter lies, you scattered questions, arrows earlier aiming your identity. God becomes the fortress you thought needed noise, but arrives without intimidation from silence. Angels move like gentle, storm-subduing winds, not panic, only trained dominion. Mental attacks fall like kingdoms formed on paper, listening for a crown they cannot keep. Morning arrives tomorrow, but first angels sever the accusations targeting your rest enabling, because God fights unseen war tonight. Heaven wars for your peace, silently inside realms you cannot chart manually. Angels kneel, storms break illusions, dissolve cedars before rest. God wraps your tired mind like a shepherd, wraps lambs when shadows whisper. Angels sever circles accusations can't close. Heaven's warfare begins silently, rest begins safely. Victory begins without echo, sleep begins without invasion. Because God fights for your mind softly tonight. God places his covering over your thoughts, softer than the night air. He becomes the calm between one heartbeat and another. Your enemies try to shout inside silence, but silence belongs to God tonight. No storm survives breathed accusations dissolving before dreaming minds. God does not silence the valley. He silences every echo built by fear around it. Your thoughts kneel softly into refuge and surrender for safety, because covering begins before rest. The shepherd stands at the gate of your mind with gentle dominion. He does not shout loud. He speaks close like evening lamps behind fortress walls. Mental fog is not removed by panic. It is interrupted by presence. God becomes your warm cloak when cold anxiety earlier tried to grip your peace. Your valley is dark. Your covering is golden light. But more than gold, a shield of remembrance beyond silence, because God claims your thoughts. God wraps his peace around your heart like a fortress built of morning promise. He hides no child from truth. He hides children from unseen arrows forged earlier. Mental storms fall, silent wolves scatter echo rooms, become altars of calm realignment. God's covering is not hiding, it is claiming territories, grief, earlier illusions tried naming. Mental invasion stops where angels earlier intersected with calm, but now covering descends softly. God plants no anxiety, he disbands every blueprint earlier formed by doubt echo rooms, because God fights for your mind softly. No arrow aimed at your peace survives when heaven signs the air gently. God raises no panic, but raises protection like soft-grain candlelit stillness around your thoughts. Your valley is dark. Your covering is brighter than your enemies. Mental storms shake creation. They do not shake the shepherd inside your weary mind. God sits not restless when illusions earlier gathered echo rooms tried accusing your identity. Your thoughts are now altars of covering, not battlefield of loud, silent storms. Because covering surrounds your soul faithfully, the Lord does not tremble when shadows circle incomplete blueprints around your peace earlier anxiety. He sits calmly within boundaries angels earlier established, but now covering descends softly. Creation bends down, but not intimidated. Peace signature claims temperature's relevance now ending. God hides not light. He hides his children in shelter, shaped like dawn's blankets softly folded over sleepy hearts. Silence is not an echo, it is territory being retaken by shepherd warmly. You will sleep tonight, but not into silence. You sleep into covering, because God fights for you. God becomes your fortress and your shepherd at the same moment. Mental storms collapse kingdoms forged of paper, snap silently. God plants no anxiety, only endings to what anxiety earlier attempted. Peace will surround your home like ancient morning lamps, reflecting softly. The unseen world bows, but creation transitions into sanctuary for safety signature tonight. Rest prepares, covering descends. Angels earlier spoke, now stand as watchers of calm paths restored. Because God claims your peace. Your accusers may gather silently, but no gathering is complete when covering interrupts circles they can't close. God signs protection over your dreams without echoing fear rooms earlier illusions targeted. Mental storms may rage, but they fail where angels earlier intersected with God's calm. Creation listens to coverings, rim lights scheduling rest for morning witness tomorrow after unseen war softly folding. Tomorrow comes blessed not by your strength, but by shepherd God inside dreams' gates softly reframing. God interrupts noise illusions form, but no circle or blueprint outruns covering's mantle. Because God guards your mind tonight. Because God fights wars, unseen realms uncharted, but covering descends calmly now finishing what angels started earlier. Mental accusations fall. Kingdom rooms melt, arrows fail, creation bends, but does not intimidate covering's authority signatures softly signing for you. You will sleep tonight, but not into silence, unless silence is revision. God wrote earlier, illusions can't keep rewriting blueprint. Covering begins in night, soft enough to hold sleepy torn pages earlier. King's illusions built to accuse identity alters, later kneel softly. Creation listens when covering ruling shepherd raises no panic. Tomorrow arrives victorious because God signs night into refuge. Because he guards your dreams. God does not chart valleys manually. He enters them sovereignly and silently for protection's rhythms, scheduling rest enabling. Mental fog dissolves. Kingdoms formed on paper break under covering's warm grain, lighting softly signing for you tonight. Your valley holds no verdict when covering descends softly, claiming territory illusions earlier tried accusing. Tomorrow is peace's witness, because tonight fear voices are not inherited by sleepy thoughts. Shepherd ruling fortress protect you at same dusk morning lights blurred slightly. Morning approaches, but first covering spreads over your mind's gate. Angels earlier ward unseen, now covering seals every path for rest's witness tomorrow, because God fights for you. Heaven protects your mind unseen war earlier left no temperature-relevant illusions or charts around. Angels earlier voiced no fear. Now covering descends softly, no circle or blueprint is stronger than reframing God's signature in night glow scheduling, enabling warmth before dreaming. Your thoughts kneel softly. God claims territories earlier seized by doubt forming echo rooms now unraveling. Morning comes tomorrow, but night's covering works first, slow, intentional, victorious, because shepherd arrives not restlessly. He covers, angels earlier fought, peace now descends, fortress rim light, softly reframing illusions, mental anxiety earlier tried blueprint linking accusers to echo rooms vanish gently tonight. Because God guards your thoughts tonight. God writes protection over realms you cannot chart, but you can feel calming you tonight. Mental storms collapse kingdoms forged inside echo rooms, earlier illusions attempted rewriting identity verdicts you felt. God signs the air surrounding your soul with a tenderness stronger than the storm. Tomorrow arrives soft, not by your strength, but by covering's mantle. No silent arrow or blueprint outruns the fortress of covering. Rest will be your pillow, covering will be your shield. Because God fights for you faithfully tonight. Heaven witnesses unseen. Your mind is guarded softly under fortress covering greater than storms that earlier attempted rewriting identity verdicts. Tomorrow comes victorious, because covering descends first before sound arrives. God plants no anxiety, only endings to what anxiety once attempted forming echo rooms around your rest. Your dreams are not surrendered to silence, accusers cannot close circles, God interrupted earlier blueprints attempt charting. In your valley of unrest creation holds no verdict when covering ruling fortress shepherd arrives gently. Victory begins without echo, sleep begins without invasion. Because God guards your mind quietly tonight. The night grows soft enough to cradle weary thoughts into rest. God speaks in a quiet whisper that rivals the loudest fear without making a sound. Angels retreat from battle and shift into guardians at the doors of your dreams. The valley is still dark, but your sleep will be lit by gentle dominion, not by storms. God doesn't remove the shadows. He becomes the warm presence inside them. Night protection is not promised for later. It is scheduled for now, before your rest begins, because God fights for you softly. Your thoughts slow like rivers, giving up their rush at the command of evening calm. God works without panic in silent realms, unraveling the knots anxiety once forged earlier. While you sleep, heaven drafts no blueprint yours accusers once wrote for alarming identities. Angels earlier fought unseen wars. Now they shift role. They guard homes' unshaken hearts. Your valley is dark night tones, but angels reflect golden rim lights around sleeping hearts. God fights not loudly, but ensures sleep's safety deeper than echoes built earlier fear rooms. Because God signs the night into remembrance. God steps through dreams without charting them manually. Your silent accusers earlier tried naming shaky illusions now dissolve. While your eyes close, heaven opens corridors softer than storms, targeting identity altars, angels earlier intersecting. But calm is sealed tonight. God plants no echo-only endings, because illusions earlier formed echo rooms, now unraveled sleep's mantle descends first for you. Tomorrow comes later, but first night comes covering mind door battle begins intentionally slow enough to hold dreams safely unshaken hearts. Your sleep is tomorrow's witness, not inherited fear, earlier illusions charted around your altars. God fights not loudly but stronger. Unseen realms guard sleepy minds, territories earlier attempts rewriting blueprint vanish gently tonight. Because God fights for you tonight. Your home sleeps, but heaven does not sleep during silent strategies. God cancels every blueprint that once tried to invade your mental peace, once darkness, once earlier. Angels earlier war tomorrow, but now covering descends, while dreams are softly unfolding. Night tones remain blue, but golden lamps of heaven outweigh the old echo fear chambers now silenced. God fights for your mind while gently scheduling tomorrow's peace onto the air above sleepy hearts. Tomorrow arrives victorious, but first your sleep is sealed, protection's signature gently drafting deeply. Because God guards your dreams tonight. God rewrites dream verdicts without noise. Yours mental storms earlier formed blueprint linking lies to exhaustion. Deep sleep works safest. Angels earlier fought unseen realms, but now they calm regions not by temperature, but guarding your soul boundaries, softly crossing illusions now melts. Tomorrow will be peace's pillow, because covering descends before echoes earlier kingdoms' illusions now crash like fragile paper warehouses. God becomes fortress shepherd at gate of racing thoughts once earlier. Set mind assault illusions, once attempted rewriting identity altars, later kneels softly. Night belongs to covering's mantle, scheduling rest, enabling slow calmer than storms. Earlier racing attempt, accusing identity illusions, quietly dissolves. Sleep is tomorrow's witness, not a place illusions build, but territory being reclaimed shepherd. Because God fights for you. Tomorrow comes blessed not by your strength, but by heaven working while your eyes rest, now reclaiming territories earlier illusions, attempted placing echo rooms fold like torn paper kingdoms. Night tones remain blue, but angels earlier voiced no panic, only guardianship ascending like fortress morning lamps, warm rim light, scheduling victory later. But first, your sleep begins secure surrender. God plants no anxiety, only endings to anxiety. Fear rooms earlier, illusions forging illusions mentally unchartable. But God charts his children into remembrance before dreaming. Mental fog calms gently tonight. Tomorrow is peace's pillow. Victory begins without echo. Sleep begins without invasion. Angels earlier speak unseen, but now covering descends softly, finishing lyrics. Heaven earlier started dissolving mental accusations, fold like paper kingdoms under soft jurisdiction. Because God fights for you where shadows earlier gather. Tomorrow arrives soft, not by echo they keep charting manually, but because God claims home altar territories fear earlier tried blueprint linking. Because God fights for your thoughts softly tonight. You will sleep tonight not into silence, but into covering. Angels earlier war tomorrow, but now guard your dreams tonight. God cancels every mental stronghold previously forged by doubt-fear rooms. Sleep's mantle descends very slow, warm, secure. Tomorrow will witness victory because covering descends first. God fights for you with gentle dominion at gate of mind, because God guards your mind tonight. The night remains blue with a holy hush, heavy tones quietly bowing. God speaks no panic, only a soft whisper that stills every interior storm. Angels earlier warred unseen, now they become sentinels at the doorways of your dreams. Creation listens as every echo room earlier built by doubt folds like torn parchment beneath heaven's calm jurisdiction. Refuge becomes your cradle, not fear's courtroom. Victory is not echoed loudly, but signed with a tender hand in realms beyond your mapping, because God guards your mind before your sleep. Tomorrow will be peace's witness, but first the shepherd claims the night. God does not chart valleys manually, he walks into them sovereignly for you. Angels earlier voiced no fear, now they reflect golden rim lamps above sleepy hearts. God unravels circles, accusers, once attempted closing around your identity altars. Your sleep becomes tomorrow's testimony that uncharts every trap earlier illusion rooms forged. God plants no anxiety, only endings to what anxiety once attempted shaping for alarming identities. Because God fights for you softly tonight. God rewrites dream verdicts without sound. Yours mental storms earlier formed blueprint vanish calmly. Angels guard homes, unshaken hearts, sleepy battleground, earlier illusions now folds. Tomorrow comes victorious, but first covering descends gently. No circle or arrow outruns presence of shepherd fortress. Night belongs to jurisdiction, recalculated by heaven, while dreams descend slowly. Your sleep is safe, your enemies are cancelled, air blueprint vanish gently. Because God guards your mind tonight. God cancels every silent arrow that once tried to rewrite your identity altars. Angels earlier fought wars unseen. Now they become watchers, scheduling rest's gentle jurisdiction. No mental circle closes when covering descends calm enough to cradle sleepy hearts. Warfare melts silently, kingdoms fold, like fragile paper blueprint vanish. Tomorrow will witness victory, because God witnessed your mind first. God doesn't make echo, only cancels earlier echo rooms, illusions, alarmed identity, altars kneel silently, because he guards your peace tonight. Rest comes welcoming, but first, covering descends gentle fortress jurisdiction, scheduling rest enabling. Angels earlier fought war unseen, now they guard dreams softly. God becomes shepherd fortress deeper than storms, loud in silence earlier. Tomorrow comes blessed not by noise, but by covering sealing mind first. Your sleep becomes new testimony. God rewrote earlier, echo rooms, illusions vanish calmly. No arrow outlasts the warmth of shepherd rimlight scheduling rest safe. Because God fights for your mind softly tonight. The night has not defeated you, it has prepared you. God was your fortress, while fear tried to build walls in your mind. But now morning rises quietly, carrying triumph you didn't fight for. Night tactics break when heaven schedules new mercies over sleepy hearts. Your valley looked like warfare. God rewrote it into testimony ground. The enemy whispered loud inside silence. God spoke louder into dominion silently. Because God turns night into victory for you. Dawn stretches its arms like a slow, cinematic promise unfolding. Blessings walk toward you calmer than storms that once accused your peace. God silenced the echo rooms that earlier tried rewriting identity altars. He covers sleepy minds first before tomorrow becomes peace's witness signature. Your enemies scatter like illusion kingdoms forged on fragile blueprints. Morning is not earned. It is ushered in by the shepherd who never sleeps, because God fights for you. God interrupts mental fog, silently rooting every knot anxiety once forged. He charts sleepy hearts into covering before dreaming interior storms kneel. Tomorrow arrives victorious, not by your strength, but by covering jurisdictions sealed earlier. No silent arrow or blueprint outlast heaven's shepherd fortress mantle. Nightbow's creation listens, illusions fold under calm rescheduling. Morning comes tomorrow, but first your mind is guarded, because God claims your peace. The sunlight feels no intimidation from shadows that earlier tried framing verdicts. God raises no panic, only a new day, blueprint angels once fought unseen. Your home sleeps, but heaven drafts no echo unless echo is cancelled. Tomorrow comes blessed because covering descends soft, slow victory already formed before dreaming. Creation bends. Your mind is a sanctuary. Morning will sing, but softly, because war ended first, because God guards your dreams tonight. God rewrote vows, illusions earlier attempted marking your thoughts. Angels shift after unseen war into covering watchers, scheduling tender rest. Your enemies try to build circles. No circle survives covering's jurisdiction tonight. Tomorrow arrives soft, but first angels earlier sever illusions attempting mapping. Anxious altars dissolve gently. God claims home battles not loudly, but sovereign. Morning will witness victory because night witnessed dominion. Because God fights for your mind nightly. God becomes the mountain louder than storms shaped like your past anxieties. Angels earlier war unseen, but now they watch sleepy hearts scheduling calm. No echo or arrow remains when covering descends fortress mantle gently. Sunlight feels no temperature. It feels only triumph. Morning is tomorrow's testimony that no trap survives. God claims your thoughts softly tonight, because God fights for your rest. The Lord speaks no intimidation from silent storms, illusions once forged. He charts new peace above sleepy hearts, reframing battle altars into sanctuary gates. You sleep safely because God rewrote echoes earlier shaped like storms. Tomorrow is blessed because covering descends first. Your enemies scatter like kingdoms forged weak. Dawn kneels softly. Tomorrow rises faithfully because God claims your mind. Tomorrow comes later, but first angels earlier warred, covering descends softly, claiming territories, illusions earlier formed. Night tones remain blue, but golden shelter scheduling rest for you. Fear asked echo. God ended echo, blueprint vanished gently. Your stillness is holy hush. Victory begins before rest begins. Dawn arrives softly, because God claims your peace tonight. He becomes fortress shepherd at same sleepy mind door gates. Illusions earlier formed identity altars kneel softly. No arrow outlast covering rescheduling mental fog dissolve gently. Tomorrow comes victorious not by your power but by heaven's dominion gently rewriting. Sunbeams hold no panic. They hold covenant and covering because God fights unseen wars for your dreams. God disbands every echo once forged by fear's silent chambers. Strategies dissolve. Angels earlier watch the battle now. They watch your rest scheduling kingdom folds. Morning is coming, not inherited, but delivered. With a shepherd's gentle rimlight scheduling victory, your dreams are not surrendered to silence. They are reclaimed by heaven's covering softly, because God fights for your mind nightly. The night holds no verdict when covering descends sanctuary calmly. Your valley is dark. Your covering is golden fortress rim lamp scheduling rest for tomorrow to witness victory softly. No blueprint outlast heaven's jurisdiction, because God fights for your peace gently tonight. Tomorrow is peace's pillow, but tonight is mental warfare sealed first, because God guards your mind. Victoria begins without echo. Sleep begins without invasion. Heaven, earlier war-ed, unseen circles, illusions forged, crumble, angels watch rest. The shepherd sits in calm dominion at the doors of your dreams. Peace is your pillow, but triumph is your mantle. Rest is tomorrow's testimony that no trap survives. God claims your mind softly tonight, because he fights for you. Night falls gently, but not without guardians at your dream doors. God wraps your mind in fortress calm, beyond the reach of loud silence. May every dream be covered, every illusion crumble before your dawn. No arrow outlasts tomorrow, because tomorrow kneels before covering first. The valley sleeps, but heaven watches, fighting your mind's battles. You are shielded, loved, guarded, whispered into peace. Subscribe so we can pray together every night.